It's interesting to see that in Denmark, for all being an island community for the most part, that they've not yet had the level of coastal flood threat that we've even seen in this country. But I think we can all learn together, and I think this is a very timely conference because we don't know when the next flood is going to come. So I think sharing experiences like we've been able to do is very important.
The UK is one of the member states that is really well advanced and have done a lot of work, but that's not the case across the EU. So when you look at this with EU glasses, you want to help the countries that are less prepared, less capacity to catch up.
So we developed our design with Water Framework around the concept of an integrated water cycle that wasn't just about water. It was thinking about climate change, but also place, or habitat, or carbon, or health and well-being. When you actually start hanging the issues on a framework like that, people can look at it and relate to it.
No, I think we do have a very comprehensive, ambitious but deliverable programme of activity, which we're at the centre of, but very much reliant on lots of other people, different sectors, different ways of life to act.
The basic idea is, of course, that yes, you're giving the public something to be happy about. You're also raising the value of real estate behind this area, but of course the basic idea is that we're also protecting our values at the same time as we're creating.
I think one of the key themes that was brought up today was global learning, and I think that's a fantastic idea, and it's really common sense because we see some amazing approaches to dealing and adapting to climate change. So why not take that on board, because it's tangible evidence of what works.
What we don't know is, have we seen the worst yet? Probably not. And also, do we know if the climate change is actually linear? Probably not. I think it's actually accelerating. What we do know is that we can't really afford as a society not to act. We also know that this will change our society over time. It has already started.
I think the main issue that's been highlighted today is the benefit of being able to share common knowledge amongst the countries. I think to be able to learn from each other is a major step forward.
I think it's really good to see the mix of organisations here as well. We all have to collaborate and work in partnership on some of these big projects. Water doesn't respect those boundaries, and so we need to make sure that we organise ourselves to work with the water and not try and split it up into arbitrary boundaries.
I'm a young engineer, so a lot of this is going to be new to me. That's partly why I'm here, to learn about the higher level thinking. Usually I deal with details, so this is very useful because having detailed knowledge is good, but knowing how things work is way more important.
As a special discipline, you can't really do much. You have to work with different disciplines in creating a holistic approach to these kind of matters, or these kind of issues. Considering 4 projects or 4 competitions we kind of won over the past years, dealing with a lot about how to move people and how to build new communities in different ways. Because I really think that the keys to attack or challenge water and climate change is actually to build new communities.
The River Delta program is intended to afford the Netherlands sufficient protection against inundation from the main rivers until 2100. With hydrologists, we've developed 2 extreme spatial visions in a number of sessions with the region.
I think this format could easily be spread out, looking at lots of different issues that are common to Denmark, UK and the whole of Europe. I think it could really work really well.
Solutions, we've talked about it before, green and grey goes together, and every place calls for its own solution. We have to cooperate about this and be willing and open and trustful for collaboration in a transparent way.
I think, particularly when it comes to cloudbursts, rainstorms, I think London's been very lucky. In terms of actually removing that risk, it's either going to be a long time or never. But you can reduce the impacts by working together, sharing information about building techniques, recovery techniques, insurance programs, etc.
But this is actually where you go into the area and then ask the citizen which kind of damage did you then have. Now you actually, as a municipality, has quite a tool actually to look into what could you do in this area.
We try to work our way through so we make cost-efficient climate proofing. You can compute the cost of the flood damages, compare it to your solutions, and basically the ultimate goal when we're talking about climate change, that is to reduce flood damages in the most cost-efficient way.
This issue that we've touched on today is but one environmental issue that affects Denmark and the UK, and it would be great to see more conferences like this which touch on other issues. So yeah, I'd like to see more.